Roller derby is played in increments called jams. Each jam lasts up to 2 minutes. Both teams field up to 5 skaters at the start of the jam. 4 of these skaters are called blockers, and 1 is called the jammer. The jammer wears a helmet cover with a star on it and scores points for the team. The blockers are playing both offense and defense at the same time, and together they make up what is called the pack. The 2 jammers start each jam behind the pack and must get through all of these skaters for an initial pass before they can begin to score points. When the initial pass is complete, a jammer can score 1 point for every opponent they pass with their hips. The first jammer out of the pack legally is declared lead jammer, which means they can end the jam anytime they want before the 2 minutes are up. Sounds easy, right?
And all right. Welcome back to the Monsoon Madness tournament here in Mesa, Arizona at the Arizona Athletic Grounds, hosted by Arizona Roller Derby. We are here at the last game of Friday night here in our 3-day tournament for the Labor Day weekend. This will be a matchup out of the round robin bracket between Rat City Roller Derby All-Stars and Baja Roller Derby Baja A. Yeah, let's get excited. So, we already saw Baja play today, earlier today against Arizona All-Stars. That was a 130 to 104 game, Arizona taking the win, but it was a close game. And then I believe this is Rat City's first game of the day. So we will see an interesting matchup between the two. Now let's get into the rosters. We have Rat City in the gray and lime green. We have 070 Cinnamon Slam, 11 Bertha Beatdown, 17 Canna Whoop Ass, 1859 Natty, 192 Habeas Corpses, 21 Anyong, 253 Anna Smashway, 4 Loco, 5 A Green, 501 and your captain, Damage Control, 619 Red Devicious, 715 Mountain Deranged, 72 Gnarly Quinn, 8 Rockzilla, 83 Thumper Skull, and they have coaches Kate Rage, Puncho Guts, Loch Ness Monster. And for Baja Roller Derby, we have 110 Koshu, 131 Venenoville, 16 Caroli Quinn, 247 Guy, 31 Hannibal, 6 Kilby Mame, 60 Black Diamond, 686 your captain Cat Attack, 8 Pony, 823 Spicy Icy, 92 Moon Sun Witch, and 93 Sandrine. And off we go. Here we go. Baja putting on the line Sandrine against Habeas Corpses for Rat City. Baja trying to keep Habeas Corpses at the front, but Pony does push them out to the outside lane, but is let through, is not lead. Oh, I'm wrong. I do see lead on the board for them. I thought I saw the hand signal saying that they were not lead, but it doesn't matter because they are about to push through the pack and is out with lead. Sandrine still being held at the back of the pack in the tripod for Rat City. The pack is holding fast. Sandrine trying to go in for some offense, knocks them to the inside lane. Oh, no, that's not Sandrine. That's Kilvi Mame. My apologies. Kilvi Mame working on that pack in the back. while we see a full defense here for Baja up against Habeas Corpus. Rat City throwing in some, I believe that's number 17, Canna Whoop-Ass, trying to let out that Whoop-Ass and let out Habeas Corpus. Another scoring pass for Rat City. Rat City recycling back, thinking that they did take out Kilby Mame, but they're still on the track. And the jam is called. Just like that, 11 points in the air for Rat City Roller Derby All-Stars, keeping Baja at 0 after that star pass to Kilby Mame. And this is just the first jam. And I'm by myself today. I'm Vampira. And let's go over the officials. We have Speed Bump, Doesn't Matter, Nerdy Little Secret, Dud Bolt, Angry Ogre, Griff, Scary Reed, Mr. Nitro, Misbehavin', Morrigan, Romp, Pika, Dak in a Box, Troublemaker, Titanium, or Tiny Tanium, Billy Motion, Hate Bit, Effin' Ref, and Sushi. And as I finish that, we have A Green out with lead for Rat City. And Monsoon, which being taken to the inside lane, Baja trying to stop that recycle, but 7:15 quick on that recycle for Rat City. A Green out with 4 in the air. Cat Attack now with the star on their helmet, taking up jammer duties for Baja. We do see the return of Hannibal to the track, trying to catch up to the pack and help out their jammer before A Green calls the jam. These are some quick jams between this matchup here. We now have 15 on the board for Rat City, keeping Baja scoreless in these last 2 jams. But this is a period of adjustment, so we will see what Baja does next. Everybody nice and tight on that Razor Cake jammer line. 5 seconds called. And that is Loco taking the inside lane quickly. Hannibal being held at the back, but getting a full contingent of blockers to go for O before they have to return to some quick defense here in the back against Loco. Loco gets some offense from the inside lane and is out with 4 points in the air. Hannibal making their way to the front of the pack. Baja setting up their tripod in the back, waiting for the return of Loco, who hits the seam, pauses, and tries to take a bit of a look and see here for some offense that they run to the inside, but takes the outside lane instead. Gets knocked to the outside at that second turn by the pivot for Baja and forces the call off. That does keep Loco at, I believe, 4 points for that jam. So the score is now 19-0. No, 23-0. 8 points being picked up. 5-second call. Everybody nice and tight against each other's defensive lines here. That is Gnarly Quinn up against Sandrine. Each jammer taking a bit of a juke here and there, but Sandrine out through the inside lane. The first lead for Baja here. Sandrine calling for some quick offense before being taken to the inside lane and calls it off just as Gnarly Quinn was coming around that turn. Y si están unidos a esta transmisión, estamos aquí en Mesa, Arizona, en el torneo de Monsoon Madness aquí en Arizona. Estamos viendo el último juego de este viernes. Es Rat City contra Baja. Baja está a 0 puntos contra los 23 de Rat City. Y ahora estamos aquí y de repente sale por adentro A Green para Rat City. Monsoon, which la tienen atrás, reciclándola para la pared aquí atrás. Mientras tanto, vemos a A Green saliendo con 4 puntos en el aire para Rat City. Baja reformando la pared acá atrás en el primer turn aquí. Vemos a Kilby Mame con la estrella en el casco, pero antes de que llegara al pack, llamaron al jam. 8 puntos en el aire para Rat City. Ahora estamos a 31 puntos. Baja todavía a 0. Pero todavía tenemos mucho tiempo en la primera etapa de este juego. Todavía hay tiempo. Vemos a Baja dándole ánimos a su equipo. 5 minutos o 5 segundos aquí. Vamos a ver a Habeas Corpus. Corpses against Hannibal. Habeas Corpses sale con el lead para Rat City. Hannibal trabajando duro para salir, pero la sacan por afuera, reciclándola. Y vemos el regreso de Habeas Corpses tratando de salir por fuera de esta defensa de Baja. Koshu pierde a Habeas Corpses y regresando para ver si pueden hacer una ofensa antes de que regresa a Habeas Corpses. Hannibal con la estrella en la mano, tratando de pasar la estrella a cada attack. Su pivota. Y sí, saca la estrella y se sale. Baja ahora trabajando en su defensa y forzando el call-off a Rat City. Ahora tenemos 4 puntos en el aire para Rat City, 35 puntos a Baja 0. Rat City now at 35 points to Baja 0. Scoreless for 6 jams now, but there is 22 minutes left in this first half. So Baja just has to, adjust to Rat City's quick O to D work here. And their jammers are really hard to stop in general, so it's a lot of work for people who have played against Rat City for the first time, I suppose. I think this is the first time they've played against Rat City. So yeah, definitely a period of adjustment here. We have Spicy Icy pushing through with lead for Baja. A beautiful push through that last line of defense from Rat City. Rockzilla now passing the star over to Thumper, who is almost taken out. But a penalty for their efforts. That's number 131, Venenoville, being sent to the Night Owl penalty box at the end of that. Jam is called by Baja. 2 points in the air, breaking that scoreless streak and keeping Rat City at 36, forcing them to have the star passed in that last jam. Penalties so far are looking pretty low, but definitely Baja has 2 more than Rat City. Baja sitting at 3, Rat City sitting at 1. And off we go. That is Loco going up against Sandrine. And Loco out through the outside apex there. Meanwhile, Sandrine is being recycled to the inside and takes a look behind them and tries to do some offense against Loco. Loco is recycled by Sandrine and making her eat the baby. But Loco says, no, I can go back in. And they go back in with some force, but Baja pretty quick on that defense there. And we do see the star passed over to their pivot. That is Cat Attack now with the star, forcing the call off. How many points did Loco make? No points. That is a goose egg jam. So that is the first scoreless jam between these two teams. And it's only jam 8. Como vemos aquí, se quedaron sin puntos porque la jammer tuvo que llamar el jam. Se quedaron sin puntos, estamos a 36 puntos a 2. Y ahora tenemos a Habeas Corpses contra Monsoon Witch. Pero Monsoon Witch pensó que salió sin penal, pero la llamaron a un cut track y la regresaron a la Night Owl penalty box. Así que esto es un power jam para Rat City. Habeas Corpses todavía no tiene el lead, se quitó la estrella, así que va a ser 2 minutos enteros para este jam. Así que el nombre del juego ahorita es para que Baja se forman en esa defensa y que la pared esté completamente capturando a Thumper, que ahora es la jammer para Rat City. Y vemos el regreso a Monsoon Witch a la pista aquí y sale por adentro. A ver si puede alcanzar a los jugadores que están agarrando más speed. Monsoon Witch con estilo sale con 4 puntos en el aire. Mientras tanto está detrás de Thumper Skull, que ya tiene 2 veces que sale con puntos. Ahora tenemos una carretera aquí. Monsoon Witch ahora regresando por adentro. La reciclan. Esta defensa, la defensa de Rat City tratando de contener a Monsoon Witch, pero sale como una tormenta. Thumper Skull ahora metiéndose por afuera, tratando de seguir su ofensa, pero Baja conteniéndola. 1 segundo queda y ya es el final de ese jam. Vamos a ver cuántos puntos sale Monsoon Witch contra Thumper, y eso va a ser 14 puntos a los 11 puntos de Monsoon Witch. Ahora estamos a 50 puntos para Rat City y 13 para Baja. Nos queda 17 minutos en esta primera etapa de este último juego de la noche. 5-second call here on the track. We have Hannibal going up against A Green. A Green trying to be contained by that pivot for Baja. I believe that was, who is that? Cat Attack? Cat Attack tried to shoulder them into the inside lane, but pushes them out. A Green is out with lead. That is 1-8-5-9. Natty being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. Hannibal out on their initial. And this is a power jam for Baja. So Hannibal coming around, trying to get their skaters to run some O, but gets knocked to the outside. Recycled back by number 11, Bertha Beatdown. Bertha Beatdown looking at their team, pointing out who is going to run some O, and that's Koshu for Baja. A little bit of a spill there. Hannibal trying to take a shirt whip off of their team. Koshu looking to Hannibal for some instruction on what kind of O they would like, and does some O, but Hannibal is being contained by the Rat City defense and taken to the inside lane just as A Green returns to the track from the Night Owl penalty box and skates through the inside lane and is out. That is 4 points in the air for A Green. Hannibal still hasn't completed their scoring pass here. Do see Rat City working on a solid tripod here in the back, containing Hannibal and recycling them back. Forearm being called on the Rat City blocker. Believe that's Bertha Beatdown being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. So now it is a single tripod here that Baja has to work on throwing some O on. Koshu running the recycle on A Green. A Green looking to the bench. And that's the end of that jam. Full 2 minutes between these two teams. A Green did come out on top of that, making 4 points. Oh, no, this is no. Okay, so it's still on top. A Green made 7 points for Rat City. Meanwhile, Hannibal did make the full 4 points for Baja, bringing up the score to 57 to Baja's 17. Less than 15 minutes left in this first half. Quick jams here and there, but also some pretty grueling 2-minute jams between these quick jams. We see Gnarly Quinn going up against Spicy Icy for Baja. Gnarly Quinn trying to keep pushing through that pack and forces a penalty on the pivot for Baja. So Spicy Icy is on her own. Oh no, it's a cut track on Spicy Icy. So this is a power jam for Gnarly Quinn, who has the lead. This is looks like Rat City did have a goat in the back, forcing the no pack call at the front, letting through Gnarly Quinn with some points. Jukes around and now is contained by the 2-wall, but pushes through Pony, and I believe that is number 131, Venenoville. We see the return of number 6 for Baja. That is Kilby Mame, running that offense and back into a nice tripod against Gnarly Quinn. As we see the return of Spicy Icy to the track. Spicy Icy trying to dance around this tripod, but being held fast in the seam. Gnarly Quinn spinning around, testing the seams for Baja's defense at the front, while seeing some offense being run by Rat City. We do see number 11, Bertha Beatdown, being sent to the penalty box for a forearm. Spicy Icy being contained here at the third turn of the second apex here, and a successful star pass to Kilby Mame here for Baja. Forcing the call off. Gnarly Quinn making now, I believe, 12 points? Yes, 12 points for Rat City, bringing up the score to 69, keeping Baja at 17 points. But this will be a pack advantage for Baja in this next jam, as they do have a blocker in the Night Owl penalty box. So a 4-3 advantage here. Everybody nice and cozy on the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line. But Baja decides, no, let's make our house over at the Razor Cake Jammer line. And we see Sandrine running in with some force, keeping those quick feet moving, going up against 715 for Rat City. That was Mountain Dew Ragged, who's trying to keep Sandrine contained and get her off balance. But Sandrine out with lead for Baja. And this is a power jam for Baja, so they have to capitalize on this. That means full on O from Baja so that they can't get their friend Sandrine out. But that 2-wall up at the front is holding fast on Sandrine. Baja trying to keep a goat to the back, but no, now it's time to run some O for Sandrine, because Rat City is trying to hold them fast and kill this penalty, as we do see Loco standing in the Night Owl penalty box. And now we see them return to the track. So Baja on full defense now to contain Loco, who is a solid jammer and knows how to get out on the outside lane, as they have right now. Star back on helmet so they can make some points for Rat City. Meanwhile, Sandrine is forced to call it off. A great penalty kill from Rat City, but 4 points were made from Sandrine on that jam, bringing up the score to 21 for Baja and keeping Rat City at 69. And this is 10.5 minutes left in this first half. I'm about to lose my voice. So much action. 5-second call, and everybody skates back towards the Razor Cake Jammer line. Moonsun Witch going up against Habeas Corpses. Moonsun Witch, who skated for Team Colombia in the World Cup, is a solid jammer and is out with lead for Baja. A great addition to the Baja A team. We do see the star in hand for Habeas Corpses, who is being held fast by the defense up at the front. Just as Moonsun Witch hits the back of the pack. Oh, one skate out, one hand on the ground. Has to go around, make sure that they're back in play correctly. Is that a power jam? Yes, this is a power jam for Moonsun Witch. And they have lead, so this is definitely a good time for Baja to put some points in the air. So this is full O from Baja to get Rat City out of the way. And Moonsun Witch, 4 points in the air. Beautiful run. Everybody trying to take the pack back. Oh, a beautiful apex jump from Moonsun Witch. ends that jam in style, keeping Habeas Corpses standing in the Night Owl penalty box. That brings up the score to 29 with 8 points being made by Monsoon Witch, keeping Rat City at 69, Baja slowly chipping away at that lead. Y como vemos aquí, Monsoon Witch dejó a Habeas Corpses en la cancha del penal, pero de regreso a la pista tenemos a Habeas Corpses contra Hannibal, que ya está de frente de esta defensa, pero fuera, sale con el lead para Baja. Hannibal ahora rápidamente regresa a la pared para hacer sus puntos. Mientras tanto tenemos a Baja enfrente contra Habeas Corpses. Nomás le falta una blocker y sale en su inicial Hannibal. Mientras tanto la tienen atrás, forzando el fin de ese jam. ¿Cuántos puntos hizo? Hannibal, hizo 2 puntos para Baja. Subimos los puntos a 31 para Baja, quedando Rat City a 69, con menos de 8 minutos en esta primera etapa del último juego aquí en este torneo en Mesa, Arizona. And off we go into this next jam. A Green holding by the threads of their teammates' jersey and out with lead. Spicy Icy being held at the back of the pack in a solid tripod, who is not phased too much by the spins here. Just as A Green takes a little skip through the inside of that apex. We do see the star passed over to Kill V Mame, who is knocked to the inside and recycled back by number 21 on Young for Rat City, and gently returned into the tripod for Rat City just as A Green comes around for another scoring pass. Baja now working on some offense for their teammate. Pony running some offense and clearing some room, but still being held fast by that defense for Rat City. Rat City just very good at containing jammers in general. A Green out with Kill V Mame close behind, forcing the call off. That was probably the highest scoring jam, I believe, for Rat City and the game in general. So 16 points in the air made, bringing up the score to 85, keeping Baja at 31. And the only other skater on Rat City who has made such a high scoring pass with 13 points was Habeas Corpses. So definitely a lot to live up to now. Loco busting through the wall. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm about to lose my voice. I'm sorry about that. Loco out with lead and quickly coming around, coming into the seam of that tripod for Baja, which is split up quickly by the pivot for Rat City here. But that does force the call off, because Sandrine did come around and was coming around after their initial was completed. Looks like we have a blocker apiece from each team in the Night Owl penalty box. So 2 solid tripods to contend with, who are taking, taking the track right up close to the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line. And off we go. We have Monsoon Witch going up against Gnarly Quinn. Gnarly Quinn being held at the back of the pack along with Monsoon Witch. Monsoon Witch just forcing a couple skaters down before they're knocked down by On Young, I believe. Yes. On Young keeping them contained along with their teammates. Now star in hand, as Gnarly Quinn has been assessed lead for Rat City. Rat City giving them some quick and out on the outside lane, but does get knocked out quickly and recycled by Pony, who is now met by number 16 from Baja, that is Carly Quinn, keeping Gnarly Quinn contain. What are the odds? So we do see Moonsun Witch being recycled back by number 715 from Rat City. That is Mountain Deragged. And kept in a nice solid 2-blocker formation in the back of the pack. Baja also keeping Gnarly Quinn contained. Taken to the outside lane, but unfortunately goes out themselves as well, forcing the call off. We do see a blocker from Baja being sent to the Night Howl penalty box. I believe that's number 8, Pony. That was a forearm call. So 4-3 pack advantage for Rat City in this next jam. So far, the only person at risk, I believe, is from Rat City with 5 penalties, most of them forearms, which is the story of this tournament so far on day 1. Forearms. Gotta think like a T-Rex to avoid those penalties. But this is a high contact sport. High hitting, high contact. And we see Habeas Corpses out with lead for Rat City against Hannibal. Hannibal trying to take the outside lane and skips out with star in hand, completing their initial just as Habeas Corpses side surfs and spins out of that pack. 4 points in the air and calls it off. Quick 4-point jam here for Rat City, bringing up the score to 96, keeping Baja at 34. There's only 2.5 minutes left in this first half of the last game in this tournament. And it's not even over. And then we're going to have an intermission. And then after that, it's going to be a second half. Ain't that wild? 5-second call. We see A Green on the track going up against Spicy Icy. And a quick offense off the line from Rat City, letting A Green through without much of a without much difficulty. We have Spicy Icy working on the tripod at the front of the pack, just as A Green just spins around their own team, but is knocked to the inside lane by Baja. And in the process, picks up a penalty, which is a power jam for Spicy Icy. So this is probably going to be this is a 2-minute jam now. Pony running some offense here, and now everybody now swarming around the Rat City defense, trying to let Spicy Icy out. Spicy Icy taken to the inside lane and quickly recycled back by number 11, Bertha Beatdown. Bertha Beatdown bringing up Spicy Icy into the tripod and recycled again. We do see A Green standing in the Night Owl penalty box and now returning. So Baja now forming their defense against A Green. A Green taken to the inside lane and recycled back. But did not see the Baja player that took it all the way to the back, sneakily cutting the track here. We do see another chance at a power jam here for Baja. Baja still working on their initial, I believe. Spicy Icy still hasn't taken off the star to pass on to their team. There's no pivot fielded on the track, so really they have no choice. Spicy Icy working hard, but met with a lot of solid contact between them and Rat City. Rat City very good at holding a tripod and knowing when to recycle and reform that tripod around them. A Green returns to the track just as the jam concludes. And that was a 0-0 jam, leading us into intermission. Wow, that keeps us at 96 for Rat City and Baja at 34. Si están viendo en casa, para este último juego de la noche, nos quedamos a 96 puntos de Rat City contra Baja, 34, y ahora estamos a medio tiempo. Toma un tiempo, toman su agua, usan el baño y regresan para ver la última parte de este juego contra Baja y Rat City.
They call it a sport, but we know better. It's a symphony of dedication, grit, and heart. Tuned to one another in a composition of chaos on a stage built for progress. Athlete-driven innovation from the first whistle to the final score. Every hit, every fall, every win, every loss, every team, every season, every body. We've got you covered.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
They call it a sport, but we know better. It's a symphony of dedication, grit, and heart. Tuned to one another in a composition of chaos on a stage built for progress. Athlete-driven innovation from the first whistle to the final score. Every hit, every fall, every win, every loss, every team, every season, every body. We've got you covered.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
They call it a sport, but we know better. It's a symphony of dedication, grit, and heart. Tuned to one another in a composition of chaos on a stage built for progress. Athlete-driven innovation from the first whistle to the final score. Every hit, every fall, every win, every loss, every team, every season, everybody. We've got you covered.
Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
They call it a sport, but we know better. It's a symphony of dedication, grit, and heart. Tuned to one another in a composition of chaos on a stage built for progress. Athlete-driven innovation from the first whistle to the final score. Every hit, every fall, every win, every loss, every team, every season, every body. We've got you covered.
All right. I hope everybody took a nice little break from day one, last game of the night here at Monsoon Madness, hosted by Arizona Roller Derby. We have a game between Rat City Roller Derby All-Stars going up against Baja Roller Derby, the A side. And this is our round robin games here. This is the first game for Rat City, and this is Baja's second game on the A side, but for a lot of them it's their third game, if I'm looking at this correctly. Baja with 5 players having played their third game, since they also play with the B side, and the rest playing their second game, as I mentioned. Rat City did have 2 players who did play on the B side, but they do have a deeper rotation here, so they have a little bit more rest than Baja has. And as you see, we are at a score differential here between the two, but we are going into the second half. And as we've seen before in the last few games, the second half is where we see a lot of these players get their second wind and close the gap. So we're expecting to see more high energy between these two teams. Si nos están viendo desde casa en esta transmisión desde Mesa, Arizona, aquí, hosted por Arizona Roller Derby, estamos viendo el juego contra Baja A y Rat City A, y es el último juego de la noche. Ya todos están regresando de su descanso antes de esta segunda etapa, y ya están todos los oficiales en la pista listos para la próxima etapa de este juego. Nos quedamos con 5 penales para una jugadora de Rat City que está a riesgo de salir del juego, y algunos penales en otros jugadores de Rat City. Mientras tanto, Baja nomás tienen 8 penales, nadie a riesgo. Y ya regresamos aquí a la pista. Tenemos a A-Green contra Sandrine. A-Green con el lead para Rat City, regresando y tomando dentro de la pista, tomando 4 puntos rápidos para Rat City y terminando ese jam. Rápidamente tenemos ahora 102 puntos para Rat City, quedando Baja 34. Si están en casa, tomen su bebida, agua o cualquier cosa que le gusta tomar, porque ya llegamos a 100 puntos. Now that you see here, we have reached the century mark for Rat City, hitting 102 against Baja, keeping them at 34. Take a drink of your beverage and watch the rest of this second half. We have Habeas Corpses going up against Monsoon, which Habeas Corpses skipping through the inside lane and is called on a cut track. That skip did keep them off track, letting Moonsandwich out of the pack with lead on a power jam. This will be a perfect moment for Baja to gain some momentum in the game, running some O and staying back to allow Moonsandwich to do their thing, which is skip through the inside lane, skip through the out, and away from those blockers from Rat City and out with 4 points. Eso, Baja, enseñando que sí se puede. Tomando un poco de esfuerzo, sale por afuera y la reciclan. Pero la pivota de Rat City la mandan a la cancha de penal por un forearm a la Night Owl penalty box. Mientras tanto vemos a Habeas Corpses siguiendo a su compañera para salir, pero Baja conteniéndola para que salga Moonwitch otra vez con 4 puntos. Mientras tanto, Habeas Corpses sale en su inicial, regresando rápidamente. Baja tratando de correr su... Oh, vamos a tomar un tiempo para revisar una jugadora. I believe there is an injured skater who is crawling off the track. Meanwhile, I guess the game is continued. Bit of a few hard hits here between the two packs. That is Habeas Corpses still working on that front of the pack here, and Moonsandwich being sent to the penalty box for that last hit between them and that Rat City blocker, who is now being assessed by our medics. So we will take an official timeout to allow the medics to assess the skater. We would like to thank our medic team for joining us here at Monsoon Madness and keeping our skaters safe throughout this weekend. At the end of that jam, we have 8 points on the board for Baja, 4 points in the air for Rat City. We will take a moment here. And Hey, 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 hey. Eso, ánimo. All right, so at the end of that, we did see the expulsion of number 92, Moonsun Witch, for that low block, which turned into, I suppose, something a little more egregious, as it did result in an injured skater. So we do see now Hannibal in the box in place of Moonsun. Si están viendo la transmisión desde casa, expulsaron a nuestra compañera Monsoon Witch por el penal al final de ese juego o de ese jam. Y pues tenemos en la cancha de penal a Hannibal para reemplazar a Monsoon. Así que vamos a empezar este próximo jam en un power jam para Rat City. But we still have about half an hour left in this game, so let's give it up for these two teams who are playing the last game of this first day of Monsoon Madness. Give it up for Baja and give it up for Rat City. Let's hear it from the crowd. We love these teams and we love roller derby. And that's the end of that official timeout. We are getting ready to get back into the game. This will be a power start for Rat City, and everybody's taking the track, getting ready to run here from the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line. 5-second call, and everybody gets lower. Baja quickly taking the front of the pack as Loco is coming up, waiting for the offense to sweep in, take two out, and we do see now Loco being contained here as the reformed blockers at the front of the pack do their best to contain Loco as Hannibal returns to the track from the Night Owl penalty box. As we do know, Hannibal is pretty good at taking each line here, but is being contained successfully at the back of the pack. In that confusion of turn 2, we have a cut track assessed on Loco. This is a power jam. The turntables have turned, and Hannibal is lead for Baja. This is a perfect opportunity for Baja to run some beautiful offense, which they do, allowing Hannibal to get a couple of hips there and calls off the jam, keeping Loco in the Night Owl penalty box. That's 2 points in the air for Baja, bringing up the score to 44, keeping Rat City at 106. A reversal of fortune, if you will, for Baja, who is now on the other end taking a power start. 5-second call as we do see this familiar formation up here at the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line. That is Spicy Icy with the star on their helmet, being taken out by number 619. And returns quickly to get some offense, but Loco released from the Night Owl penalty box and quickly hits the pack and is out of the pack. It is like a reverse of what happened in the last jam. Loco is now lead for Rat City, and we see the pivot for Baja being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. They were not given the jammer duties there, so there is still going to be a jammer in this next jam for Baja, I believe. Yes. No? Yes? Yes. All right, so that brings up the score for Rat City to 109. Baja kept at 44. Pack going quickly to the Razor Cake jammer line. Meanwhile, half of the pack takes the front half of this straightaway, now all the way into the apex. We do see Black Diamond being sent to the Night Owl penalty box just as A Green is allowed through on the inside lane. Not lead yet, so they do have the opportunity of gaining lead, but Sandrine does not, unfortunately, as they did take the star off their helmet. But just as I say that, A Green is out with 4 points in the air. Have they been assessed lead? No, I do not see them assessed lead, so this is still a 2-minute jam so far. Koshu running the recycle on A Green, just as Black Diamond returns from the Night Owl penalty box. And Sandrine is out on their initial, putting the star back on their helmet so that they can make some points. Koshu running that beautiful defense against A Green, running them back into the defensive wall here. It's a bit of a scrum in the second straightaway. Sandrine has lost the cover. The cover is now on the inside lane, but Sandrine has not heard that they have lost the cover. So if they get through the pack, they have not made those points. Those points, all that effort, no points. Sandrine does understand that they have lost the cover and is skating the wrong way. They're going to get reabsorbed into that pack, but they got to get their star back or else they can't make any points. A Green, meanwhile, is trying to come out. Oh, dear Lord. They did lose it again for a moment, but they did quickly pick it back up. Now aware that the star on their helmet is not staying on. That was a full 2 minutes. Full 2 minutes of no more points being made. That was a solid just defense between the two teams, but, you know, a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction for Baja on that end. So the points that they could have made was unfortunately due to that star not being on their helmet. So Rat City takes this with 7 points in the air and Baja with 116 to 45. And Hannibal is on the track going up against Habeas Corpses. Both skaters being taken to each side of the track, but Habeas Corpses quickly back in and out with lead, just as Hannibal is out as well, trying to pick up speed and catch up to Habeas Corpses. Corpses trying to tell their skater to run some quick O so that they can get some hips before Hannibal comes around to get their own points. Did they make it in time? Let's see. Unfortunately, Hannibal did not reach the pack in time. So Corpses does run away with 3 points in the air. 119 for Rat City. Baja kept at 45. But there is still 21 minutes left in the second half. So there's still plenty of opportunities. It takes one good power jam to turn your fortunes. All right, Mountain Deranged taking over jammer duties for Rat City here. Nope, never mind. That's not Mountain Deranged. That's Gnarly Quinn. We are familiar with Gnarly Quinn, who is out with lead. Spicy Icy taking off the star and passing it on to Cat Attack, the captain for Baja, who has one Rat City blocker to contend with, who is very quickly for their efforts, Canawupas has been sent to the penalty box, but it's full. Rat City having 2 other players in the Night Owl penalty box, so they have to return to the track and wait for another skater to come back onto the track so they can return to the Night Owl penalty box, so they can keep playing technically. But now that Anyang is back on the track, we do have to see Canawupas back to the box. Meanwhile, Cat Attack is out, having scored a few scoring passes against Gnarly Quinn, who did have lead. A lot of things happened on this track. I am so sorry if I missed a couple things. But at the end of that jam, we have 7 points in the air for Rat City, bringing up the score to 126. Baja making 8 points, taking over that jam. 53. What did I say, folks? Takes one good jam to turn your fortunes, and they'll chip away at this lead if they get a chance. Cinco segundos en la pista. Tenemos aquí Hannibal contra Loco. Loco casi logra salir, pero es reciclada por Baja y Hannibal sale con lead para Baja. Una gran oportunidad para Baja hacer puntos aquí. Mientras tanto, Loco sí sale en su inicial, regresando la estrella a su casco. Pero ya que Hannibal sale con puntos y Maja Maja le dice a Hannibal que llame a ese jam, y ya la conclusión de ese jam, 4 puntos para Baja, 57 a los 1.26 para Rat City. Eso, mucho esfuerzo para Baja. Now at 5 seconds here at the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line, we have A Green going up against Sandrine. A Green just very good at surfing through the lines and out through the inside lane with lead. But Sandrine quick on that star pass over to their captain, Cat Attack, who is quickly trying to catch up to A Green. A Green gets past 2 more hips, spins out and is knocked to the inside lane and has to call it just as Cat Attack comes around the track. That is no points made by Baja, but 3 points for A Green, bringing up the score to 129 to Baja's 57. 17 and a half minutes left in this second half. That's only jam 9. My God. Cinco segundos en la pista. Tenemos a Spicy Icy contra Habeas Corpses. Spicy Icy la toman al piso, pero de regreso a sus patines para salir. Todavía tiene una pared enfrente de ella para salir. Habeas Corpses contenida por atrás. Pony tratando de sacarla, pero Corpses empuja su camino fuera y es lead para Rat City. Spicy Icy toma la estrella y se lo da a su compañera Kilby Mame, pero todavía contenida. Kilby Mame la regresan y la reciclan por adentro. Eso va a ser 6-1-9 Red Divicious de Rat City, conteniendo la regresándola a la pared de Rat City, pero Kilby Mame tomando por fuera. Y vemos a la pivota de Rat City, la mandan a la cancha de penal. Así que nomás tenía 2 personas contra que tenía salir, pero Kilby Mame la sacan por afuera, de regreso a la pared. Baja enfrente de esa pared, está conteniendo a Corpses, que todavía no sale con sus puntos. Es su primer regreso de la pista. La defensa muy fuerte contra Habeas Corpses, pero sí mandan a Spicy Icy a la cancha de penal de Night Owl. Así que 3 bloqueadoras de cada equipo conteniendo a cada jammer, pero sí de regreso la pivota de Rat City. Así que con ese esfuerzo de los 2 equipos, nomás sale Rat City con 4 puntos por sus esfuerzos. Ahora estamos a 1.33 para Rat City, a los 57 de Baja. Nos queda 15 minutos en esta segunda etapa de este juego. Al final de la noche de viernes aquí en Monsoon Madness desde Mesa, Arizona. 5-second call. We have Gnarly Quinn going up against Hannibal. Hannibal quickly trying to push in Gnarly Quinn to get their way out, but is knocked to the outside by the pivot from Rat City. Gnarly Quinn being contained by the tripod up at the front, but is getting some pretty solid defense by number 070, Sin. Sin running the last line of defense with Anyang. Anyang going in with that beautiful sweep and knocking Hannibal down. But Gnarly Quinn still being contained to the back of the pack. Number 8-3 trying to run some beautiful offense here. Thumper Skull for Rat City. And Hannibal takes a little bit of a spill, but is out with lead for Baja. Baja, their coach, is telling them to, take it easy, look for their offense. Hannibal coming around, does hit the pack at the back, and gets some beautiful offense from number 686. That is their captain, Cat Attack. Cat Attack assessing, going in for some offense again. Hannibal is now working their way to the front of the pack. Oh, and that, I believe, may have been a low block. No. Okay. So, the jam is called by Hannibal. Still some good feelings between the 2 teams as Hannibal gives a nice hug over to Anyang because that was a beautiful sweep and she has to recognize that. 2 points in the air by Hannibal, bringing up the score to 59, keeping Rat City at 133. Slowly chipping away at that lead. Still a pretty big gap, but not insurmountable with 13 minutes left in this second half. We do have A Green going up against Sandrine. A Green out with lead on the outside of that apex. And as I say that, Sandrine through the inside lane on their initial, coming around for a scoring pass as well. A Green taking a moment and sliding into that tripod. Meanwhile, Rat City in a 2-blocker formation receiving Sandrine. Almost knocked off balance. But Sandrine with some speed and some offense is out with 4 points in the air just as A Green comes around for their second scoring pass and spins out of the way and calls off the jam to allow their teammate Natty out of the Night Owl penalty box, which is a good call in general. If you're in that much of a lead and you have a player in the box, give it a second, let them out. Let your people go. And a timeout being called. We'll give that a second. So at the end of that jam, that was 7 points picked up, bringing up the score to 140, and 4 points picked up by Baja, bringing up their score to 63. This is a team timeout by Baja, who would like to take a second to breathe, and Rat City is going to take a second to spin on the track. Get the feet moving. We would like to thank our sponsor, Crash Course. Crash Course presents Derby in Paradise, a 7-day roller derby retreat to recharge your body, reignite your game, and connect with new roller derby. We also like to thank Sisu. This event is sponsored by Sisu Mouthguards, trusted by roller derby athletes for comfort, protection, and custom fit. Play hard, stay protected with Sisu. Gotta love an official who knows how to project. As he announces the end of that team timeout, everybody back on the track getting ready for jam number 13. Looks like we have still about the same penalties as we saw last time. 14 penalties on Baja's side, but 21 on Rat City's side. We do see Loco taken to the inside lane by Baja and recycled back just as Sandrine is being held. Oh, no, wait, that's not Sandrine. Who is that? Spicy Icy out with lead for Baja. But not before Loco has anything to say about it. Loco chasing them. Spicy Icy asking for some offense. The pack is picking up some speed, which means both jammers are also picking up speed, forcing the call off. We do have Venenoville standing in the penalty box, the Night Owl penalty box. So this is a pack advantage for Rat City, 3-4. Baja did pick up 1 point and brought up their score to 64, keeping Rat City at 140. 5 segundos en la pista. Tenemos a Rat City detrás de la pared de Baja. Baja tratando de contener a Habeas Corpses. Habeas Corpses tomando la ofensa por adentro y sale con lead para Rat City. Mientras tanto tenemos a Hannibal con la estrella en la mano, tratando de salir de esta defensa. La defensa por un momento distraído por la llamada de penal. Y Hannibal casi sale, pero la regresan reciclada de por afuera. La pared tomando a Hannibal por adentro. Pero esto es un power jam para Baja, porque sí vemos a Corpses a la cancha de penal de Night Owl. Así que tenemos a la pivota y también a la jammer de Rat City. Un buen momento para Baja de sacar a su compañera para hacer sus puntos. Sí vemos de regreso a número 501 de Rat City, Damage Control. Hannibal tomando la estrella y se la pasa a su compañera número 6. Esa va a ser Kilby Mame, que sale y va a salir para hacer sus puntos para Baja, pero sí vemos de regreso a Habeas Corpses. Habeas Corpses tomando la pared de repente y sale por afuera, pero Pony llegando con la ofensa la saca por afuera, reciclando a Habeas Corpses. Pero Kilby Mame sí la tienen contenida atrás de la pared. Esa defensa muy enfocada contra Kilby Mame. Baja, pero completamente ocupadas con Habeas Corpses. Y eso fue la conclusión de ese jam. Al final del jam, ¿cuántos puntos hicieron? Van a ser 4 puntos a cada jugadora, llegando a 144 para Rat City y 68 para Baja. Nos queda 8 minutos con 30 segundos en esta segunda etapa y estamos a 5 segundos. Off to the races, we have A Green going up against Sandrine. A Green out with lead on the outside lane on one skate only. That is some beautiful core work. Sandrine quick with the star in hand, trying to push their way up to the front of the pack. Cat Attack running some offense / defense, but A Green spins around and out. 4 points in the air for Rat City, keeping their lead ahead. That is now 148, keeping Baja at 68. These are some quick jams. At this point, Rat City is now just doing quick, controlled jams in order to maintain the lead. So, in the process, we have Baja calling another timeout here. Baja giving possibly an inspirational speech for their team. And while that's going on, let's thank our sponsors, RollerCon 2026. If you love roller skating, you know that magic happens when roller derby, park, and roller skaters of all disciplines get together. Join us. RollerCon 2026 will be July 8th through the 12th next year at Expo Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can enter our raffle to win a RollerCon MVP pass. It's just $5 to enter. You can either go to the merch table or go online and enter that raffle. We also like to thank Keith Brands, born in Boulder, Colorado in 2010. Keith Brands is a leader in the cannabis beverage space with suite of products to offer a new generation of consumers an alternative to alcohol. And it is pretty tasty. From my experience, I recommend it. That team timeout is now over, and the 5-second call is getting us ready for the next jam. Everybody nice and cozy on the Razor Cake jammer line, and Gnarly Quinn quickly scoots in through the center of the track and out with lead, just as Spicy Icy is contained to the inside lane and recycled back by the pivot for Rat City. Baja now working on full defense against Gnarly Quinn, as they do have some offense being run by Natty for Rat City. Boney now bridging the pack here. 2 blockers. Oh no! They did not see that they still had 2 blockers working on that offense, which did lead to Guy getting a penalty for out of play block and sent to the Night Owl penalty box at the end of that jam. Mind you, this is a lot of these players on Baja's side. Their third game of the day, so I would think that a lot of them are a little bit gassed, but they're still putting up a good fight. This is not a bad score to look at with 6.5 minutes left. We are now at 152 for Rat City against Baja's 68 with 6.5 minutes left. That is Loco going up against Hannibal. Oh, a little bit of a spill. Loco assessed lead from the confusion of that spill. Hannibal being contained by the Rat City tripod here, which allows some offense to be run by Rat City for Loco. Loco skipping through the inside lane just as Hannibal is allowed through with Koshu's help, forcing the call off. 4 points in the air for Loco at the end of the jam. 156 to Baja 68. Everybody taking the Arizona Goat Yoga pivot line. You can always roll into another form of entertainment with Arizona Goat Yoga. Ultimate blend of stretching, laughter, and adorable goats jumping all around you. Check them out when you have a chance. But in the meantime, we have A Green making a beautiful backwards jump out of the pack. Assessed lead for Rat City. Meanwhile, Sandrine has passed the star over to their teammate. That is Kilvy Mame. Kilvy Mame successful in getting out with the star. Now has to put the star on in order to make some points. But A Green did make a full scoring pass and calls off the jam. So at this point, Rat City is now playing, as I said before, a controlled game where they're just packing on the points bit by bit, just maintaining that lead here. I believe it's almost pretty much a 100-point lead right now with 4.5 minutes left. 5-second call. Everybody skates back to the Razor Cake jammer line, getting nice and tight to get a hold of Habeas Corpses, but Habeas Corpses get some offense from number 11, Bertha Beatdown, But for their efforts, they did not see that they cut the track. So this is a power jam for Baja. Black Diamond, trying to make Anyang the goat, has successfully recycled them back and telling their teammates, hey, I have a goat here. Let's keep them back and let our teammate out, which has successfully happened. We have Spicy Icy out on their initial scoring pass here. The star back on their helmet. They did take it off, so this is a full 2-minute jam between the two teams. We do see the return of Habeas Corpses. Habeas Corpses to the track. So both jammers on the track being actively blocked against by each team. Baja being split up by Habeas Corpses. And we do see that is Cat Attack being sent to the penalty box. Ooh, that is a gnarly hit. Habeas Corpses out with a bit of a spin. 4 points in the air. Meanwhile, Spicy Icy still trying to work their way through that tripod here. Everybody just, now it's a 2-blocker formation on Young, and can't tell who that is, but also doing a fabulous job at containing Spicy Icy here, who is now joined by Bertha Beatdown at the top of that tripod. We do see the return of the pivot for Baja, running some offense for Spicy Icy. Spicy Icy, a little bit gassed. Giving her a second to breathe, get some air, because that was the conclusion of that jam. And don't want to gas her more than she already looked in that jam. All right, so that brings up the score for Rat City to 164, Baja at 68. There is 2 minutes left in the second half of the last game here at Monsoon Madness. 5 seconds. There is points. Points made by Baja. Baja made 3 points, bringing up the score to 71. And we see Hannibal going a bit against Gnarly Quinn. Gnarly Quinn taking the front of the pack, trying to split up and forcing the bridge. This is a power jam for Gnarly Quinn, as we do see Hannibal in the Night Owl penalty box. That was a cut track being assessed on Hannibal. So this is a full just defensive formation for Baja. Everybody just kind of bunched together trying to force each other off the track, but Gnarly Quinn still being contained solidly by that tripod from Baja. But a beautiful sweep by the Rat City defense here. Rat City giving Gnarly Quinn a chance to spin out through the outside lane. 4 points in the air for Rat City. And we do see Hannibal back from the penalty box, but recycled back by Rat City and back into the loving arms of this Rat City tripod. But Hannibal said, no, I'm skipping out of the way. But for their efforts, they did get a forearm at the end of that jam and returns to the Night Owl penalty box. This will be a power start for Rat City with less than 30 seconds. Oh, little bit of a rotation here. 5-second call for this potentially the last jam of the night. Everybody off to the races. We see A Green, who is successful at getting out with lead for Rat City. Rat City keeping a goat back and forcing the no pack call and allowing A Green out with lead. Guy running some offense, but A Green quick to their plan and skips out of the way. Completely going around the Baja defense. We do see Hannibal standing in the penalty box and now released and has returned to the track. Everybody's standing up because this more than likely will be the last jam of the night. Hannibal taking the inside lane, going up against An Young as the last line of defense for Rat City, now quickly joined by the pivot for Rat City. On Young being sent to the penalty box for their efforts for a forearm. Oh, another Rat City blocker being sent to the penalty box. I believe that's Bertha Beatdown as well. No, number 17? No, yeah, that was Bertha Beatdown. And that's the unofficial end to that game and that jam. Hannibal finishing off the jammer duties for Baja alongside A Green for Rat City. Rat City bringing up 12 points for that last jam. 182 to 71 is the unofficial score of the night. Gonna give it a second, and there's the whistle. That's the end of that game. Final score now is 182 Rat City, 71 Baja. Thank you guys for joining us for this last game of the first day of Monsoon Madness here at hosted by Arizona Roller Derby in Mesa, Arizona, out of Arizona Athletic Grounds. If you joined us on Twitch, thank you so much for sticking with us. Muchas gracias a todos que se unieron a esta transmisión para ver a sus compañeras o a sus parientes de Baja aquí. Mucho esfuerzo por los dos equipos. Nos quedamos a 1.82 a 61. Muchas gracias y vengan de regreso mañana al segundo día de Monsoon Madness aquí en Arizona. Y gracias por unirse. Los vemos.